How's going on, everybody? It's me, the one that loves cartoons, and in today's video, well, I'm gonna be talking about a cartoon. So, in Ninjago Master of the Mountain episode 7, titled The Skull Sorcerer, we learned the identity of the Skull Sorcerer. He turned out to be King Vangelis, Vanya's father, and as we know, the Skull Sorcerer was enslaving the months and geckos to mine Vinstone for him, and he's doing all of this because there's a customer that wanted Vinstone, and he was gonna pay King Vangelis for the Vinstone. So when you think about it, even though Vangelis is the main villain and the one who enslaved the months and geckos, you need to know that it's all because of the Vinstone buyer. He wanted Vinstone. So it's because of the buyer that caused Vangelis to enslave the months and geckos, because he wanted the money. So, who is the Vinstone buyer? I heard a lot of theories surrounding his identity. Some people say it's an old enemy that we've seen before, like Crocs in the Chronics, or Lord Garmadon or Naracon, because they are teasing us a lot with Naracon in these Wild Brain Ninjago seasons. And some people say it's a new villain, a new character, and I think, yeah, it is very possible, because New Ninjago is giving us more new villains, and they're not bringing back some old villains that are still around, like Pythor, Garmadon, Klaus, the Time Twins. So yeah, some people think that the Vinstone buyer is an old villain, some think it's a new villain, and my theory here is that it's neither of them. It's not an old villain or a new villain, but it is a familiar face. So this is just a theory that I had, it's a theory that I came up with, so nothing here is confirmed, it's just a theory that I came up with, okay? So I think that the Vinstone buyer is Masako. So hear me out. This is a theory that I came up with, and in this theory I think Masako is the Vinstone buyer. And here's why. Again, it's just a theory, okay? It's just a theory that I had in mind. So nothing is confirmed. It's just a theory that I came up with, okay? So, I think Masako is the Vinstone buyer, and here's why. So Masako was introduced in Season 2, and she appeared in every season after that, except for the Wild Brain era. Because again, Masako was introduced in Season 2, and she showed up in all of the seasons, Season 3, Season 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, even in the Day of the Departed special. But when the Wild Brain series of Ninjago started, Misako wasn't there during the first season of New Ninjago, which is Secrets of the Forbidden Spinjitzu, and she also didn't show up in Prime Empire, but she was back in Master of the Mountain. And they never explained where she was. She just showed up and started talking with Wu. So yeah, why Misako wasn't there during the chaos that happened in Secrets of the Forbidden Spinjitzu and Prime Empire? Like, her son went to the Neverrealm and she wasn't there. Her son was stuck inside an arcade game, and he even died inside that arcade game. She wasn't there. Why Misako wasn't there? So I'd say Masako wasn't there during those 2 seasons because she was working on her plan to buy Vinstone from King Vangelis. So you're maybe asking why Masako is the buyer. Why Masako is the Vinstone buyer? Why does she want Vinstone? Well, here's what I came up with. Here's why Masako is the buyer. So we know that Masako likes to research and all, and she knows a lot about Ninjago's past. And remember, in Season 2, Episode 20, the Stone Warrior, her introduction episode, she told Lloyd and the other ninjas that she told them about the backstory of the first Spinjitzu Master and the Overlord. She said when Ninjago was created, there was good, and when there is good, there's also evil. There is balance. Basically, when there's good, there's always evil, okay? The balance is needed. So the first Spinjitzu Master represents good, and the Overlord represents evil. The Overlord is basically darkness itself. So when the first Spinjitzu Master died, the Elemental Masters are the new one who represents good. And when the Elemental Masters died, we have the ninjas. The ninjas are the one who represents good, and the Overlord represents evil. So the Overlord was defeated twice. Lloyd defeated him in Season 2, and Zane defeated him in Season 3. And ever since that, we never saw the Overlord back. So, the embodiment of evil itself is gone, at least for now. We don't know if the Overlord will come back or not, but for now the Overlord was defeated by Zane, so there is no Overlord. so evil is gone, right? But good is still there. The ninjas represent good, so the balance is basically broken since the overlord is out of the picture, but the ninjas are getting stronger and stronger with their elemental powers. I mean, yeah, the ninjas did face many villains after the overlord, but the villains that the ninjas faced are people who decided to become villains. But unlike the overlord, who is basically evil from the start, he is darkness itself. So since he's out of the picture for the time being, then there is no evil. There is no evil force. There is no darkness. But there is good, and it's the ninjas. So in this theory, Masako noticed that the balance is basically gone, because we know Misako does a lot of researches. So maybe she noticed that since the overlord is gone now, the ninjas are still around with their elemental powers, so the balance is broken. There is no evil, there is just good. So the balance is broken, and maybe in Ninjago, when the balance is broken, something bad could happen. Maybe the 16 realms will fall, maybe Ninjago will get destroyed, and Misako knows about that. So what she did, she wanted to buy Vinstone from King Venge so she could eliminate the ninjas' powers. So that way the balance will get restored, because the overlord is gone and the ninjas are powerless, so basically they are equal. There is no darkness and the ninjas are powerless, so the balance will get restored again. Because evil and good are equal, the overlord is in his weakest form since Zane defeated him, and the ninjas are weak because they don't have their powers. So that's why Masako wanted to buy Vinstone, so she could eliminate the ninja's powers and also eliminate the elemental master's powers, so the balance could get restored again. So yeah, Misako is trying to prevent the end of the world, because if the balance is broken, then something very, very bad could happen to the world of Ninjago. So even though we as fans think that the Vinstone buyer is a villain, I think the buyer could be Misako trying to prevent a big chaos, because the balance is broken and there is more good than evil. So she wanted to buy Vinstone from Venge so she could eliminate the powers of the ninjas and the other elemental masters, so that way there will be balance, because the overlord is weak because of his defeat in season 3 and the ninjas are weak because they are powerless. So yeah, in this theory Misako is the buyer and she is trying to save the world, because if balance is broken, then the whole universe is broken, at least in this theory. Well, and it could lead to a massive chaos. So yeah, that's my theory on the Vinstone buyer's identity. It's Masako trying to prevent a massive chaos, because balance is needed. If there is no balance, then everything is broken. So yeah, what do you guys think on this crazy theory that I came up with? I actually liked it, and even though I doubt that Misako is the buyer and her motivation is to restore balance by eliminating the powers of the ninjas, I still think it's a very good theory and something that could happen and make sense in the content of the show. So what do you guys think? Do you think Masako is the Vinstone buyer, or do you think it's someone else? And do you guys liked my theory or not? Just leave your thoughts down in the comments. And feel free to give me your own theory on the identity of the Vinstone buyer down in the comments. So yeah, Masako is the buyer trying to prevent the end of the world, because there is more good than evil. The overlord is gone for the time being and the ninjas have their powers, so there is more good than evil. So Misako wanted to buy Vinstone to eliminate the ninjas' powers, so that way their good and evil will be equal and the balance will get restored. So yeah, I'm done. So if you guys like this video, then give it a like, and if you're not subscribed, then subscribe. It means a lot to me, and turn on the notifications so you'll be the first one to know when I upload a video. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm the one that love this cartoon, and you're the one that love it too.